Good morning, and it's wonderful to have people here in person, and now that we are able to connect in real time with those online. Good morning to everyone online as well. So words getting around, which is wonderful. So we'll start with the Refuge and Bodhicitta prayer, those who have similar prayer book. It's on page 14, the English. So it's good to do the English so we know what we're saying. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. So having set this precious, vast Mahayana motivation for engaging here in this morning's listening, reflecting, meditating, discussing. So then settling your body, speech and mind into a state of stillness. First of all, checking that your posture is your body is well supported by the chair, by the floor, by the cushion, by the mat, by whatever horizontal surface, as if it's coming up to really support you, greet you, and inviting you to just soften, feel confident that you've got a stable base connected to the earth below, well grounded. And on this stable base, just invite, the weight of your pelvis to really relinquish itself to that support. And the pelvis slightly tilted forward, and just inviting the spine to be in its natural state, and just bringing your awareness to that your spine stacked up nicely, one vertebra on top of the other, back of the neck long. And so this support of this stable base and this central axis, one long line. So your skeleton supporting you, and then all your muscles can soften, relax, be completely at ease. So with each breath out, just savoring, letting go, settling into a state of comfort and ease, spaciousness around each moment of the breath out, softening body. Bring it to a state of stillness, spaciousness, alertness. And so that your mind can then just settle into the space of the body, resting on just the natural rhythms of the breath, wherever you experience that in your body. And imbuing that softness, that relaxation, that alertness with a joy, a delight that here we are able to connect with each other, having this strong aspiration to cultivate a meaningful meditation practice, and allow yourself to just enjoy this possibility. All the conditions coming for us to be here together. Due to our past virtues, our past stainless prayers, our past pure ethics. arising in each moment of fruition this morning. And so therefore, the aspiration to make the most of this precious opportunity. In a sense of spaciousness, openness. When you're ready, open your eyes, adjust to the light, to the sights around you, happy, refreshed. So of course, we're all aware in the world of this war situation happening between Russia and Ukraine and so forth. And the mind can easily freak out. And I understood that those of you here for morning meditation, there was a meditation around that. And I just wanted to mention that Lama Zopa Rinpoche has given advice to us for practice, which is based on a prayer, a practice of Padmasambhava Guru Rinpoche. So here on the tanka over here, this is Guru Rinpoche. There's a statue on the altar as well, but we can see here. So who was responsible, if you like, for actually grounding, establishing the Buddhism in Tibet. So there'd been previous attempts, Santrashita and so on. But really when Guru Rinpoche was able to go and quell hindrances, opposing forces, then it really took hold, you know, he was requested. And so this can be very powerful practice for dispelling of all sorts of obstacles, hindrances, and so forth, is why Rinpoche's advised this particular practice. So I thought right now we could do, those who are, you may not be familiar with the mantra, but right now I will do some recitations and we can feel that that is dispelling hindrances in the world, creating the cause for peace, peace in our minds, peace in the world. And then also this being this week, Thursday is the Tibetan New Year, Losar, Tibetan New Year. So we start 2 weeks then of celebrating the miraculous deeds the Buddha displayed over a period of time. And so we have, each day is a Buddha day, it's called BBB. And so this represents every day we're engaging in virtue during that period, 100 million times the merit, every breath, every thought, every action, and so forth. So here we're having a Guru Puja in the evening, and as part of that, we'll incorporate the prayers and practices that Lama Zopa Rinpoche has advised. But they're available on fpmt.org. You can find the advice there and the practice there. You can do at home. Just a little story. Some years ago, in Sydney, I was when I was at the centre in Sydney, a friend of mine who definitely knew I was involved in Liberation Prison Project invited me over to listen to, anyway, he invited me over and then said, listen to this CD. And it was a bluegrass singer, Peter Rowan. And I was listening to the CD and quite good songs. And then one came along, Jailer. Jailer was about prisons and people in prison and so forth. And then the very last song started with across the rolling hills I'll come riding, and it was actually a Guru Rinpoche prayer, and ended with this mantra. Now I can't claim to be able to sing it as he sung it, but what happened subsequently, Peter Rowan was visiting Sydney, and so my friend said, come on, you got to come to this club as a nun in Newtown, because he's going to be singing there. So it's my one time as a nun that I've been to a club. And we got there early and they were rehearsing, they were practicing, they were warming up, they say, you know. And part of the warm up was a bluegrass rendition of the Heart Sutra. So that was part of his warm up and part of his act. And then this. And so, well, I was just compelled to speak to him afterwards. And I think he was a bit compelled to speak to me because we got there early. So he noted, you know, Buddhist nun, he saw. As it turned out, he was the first Buddhist chaplain in a prison in California in the 60s. His teacher, I think his teacher was, I was trying to remember, I think Chogyi Trungpa. But anyway, his teacher sent him to do prison work. So we had a great conversation and was trying to work out a time in his schedule to get to the center. And it was very exciting, right? You know, to make that connection. Who would have ever thought our prayers and practices bluegrass? I mean, there's no limit, right? Anyway, I don't think I can by any means, sorry, Peter, do any sort of justice to that, but nonetheless, chant some of the Guru Rinpoche prayer, and we can hold in mind the people of Ukraine, the people of Russia, well, the whole world is affected by this, as we're being told. We will be all affected by this in terms of petrol prices and trade and all sorts of things. So may harmony be re-established quickly. Om Ahung Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hung. 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 I guess it didn't sound bluegrass, did it? I'll work on it. Actually, I haven't heard that for I've got his CD here somewhere. I have to check it out. Okay, subsequently, because I said, have you got the Heart Sutra recorded? And he says, oh, I snuck this one in, Guru Rinpoche one in, under the radar of his record company. And he said, oh, Heart Sutra is a bit more difficult. But subsequently, he must either change record companies or he was allowed to, because he put out one called Dharma Blues, Dharma Bluegrass or Dharma Blues or something like that. Okay, all right. Okay, so here, today, we're looking at analytical meditation, starting to look at analytical meditation, which we said is about movement of the mind, using the power of the mind, using the power of our thinking, using the power of our imagination, our creativity, imagining. This is, so we're starting here looking at the practice of visualization. So using visualization is very, very strong in our tradition. Look at all these images to visualize, all the Buddha images and so forth. So we'll look at that subsequently next month in terms of focusing on Buddha image and so forth and familiarity with that. So the practice of visualization is not something, or maybe the practice is, but visualization is something that we naturally do. You know, we make use of visualization, images all the time. We create images all the time. Even we're not consciously aware of that. So like an architect will have an image of what that building is going to look like, or a landscape gardener will have an image of what that's going to look like. So this we're doing all the time. We have it in our daydreaming. We use imagery, planning things, recollecting, remembering, memory, in all aspects of our thinking, really. So visualization is something we naturally engage with. And sometimes people say, oh, but I can't visualize. Well, that's rubbish, as Lama Yeshe said. Lama Yeshe said, visualize pizza. No problem. Visualizing your most delicious favorite pizza, right? We can all do that, correct? I mean, unless you've never seen a pizza, in which case you go, what's a pizza? But you can substitute it with something else. I think we all know what pizzas are. All right. So in meditation, we consciously harness this power of visualization, of creativity, of imagination, to really hear what we're talking about is focusing on positive images. So usually when we're talking about Buddha images and so forth, but any aspect of positive images, it's connecting with our own Buddha nature, our own potential Buddhahood, you know. And so, you know, we consciously use visual images, such as an image of the Buddha. As I said, we'll familiarize with that more down the track. But, you know, we see that Buddha image and then we get a generic image in our mind, and then we cultivate that in meditation and more we familiarize and get some understanding of what all those aspects of the representation here, because, you know, the Buddha image that we're familiar with in the world is not how Siddhartha Gautama was walking around the streets in Bihar and so forth in the day. It's an idealization of all the enlightened qualities, which means when our ordinary body transforms into, we talk about the 32 major marks and the 80 minor signs of the Buddha, and then every aspect represents something. And over time, we familiarize with what all those aspects are, it develops more meaning. So as I said, we'll look at that one next month. But we can also use auditory sounds, you know. So we can use other sensory images. We could use taste, for example, is a very popular one. So I think, was it Thich Nhat Hanh, a whole book called Savor? Somebody, Savor. I mean, just the name of the book makes you want to read it. And it's about meditating on taste. Maybe some of you have done the taste meditations. I remember doing with these children, we had pre-COVID days, right? So we had a bag of chocolates and gave each child a bunch of chocolates. And so we're going to meditate on that, so don't touch yet. And so it was just to take one chocolate and spend time contemplating what you anticipate, your anticipation of the taste, the texture, and so forth. And then smelling, and like using all your senses, you know. And then when you put it in the mouth eventually, after all of this, you're savoring that taste. Not one child had more than one chocolate. I said you could, you know, in the meditation, you could have as many as you like, because when we spend time with that, we realize, oh, there's a whole bunch of deliciousness going on there, right? Now, for those of us who don't like chocolate, the traditional thing is a grape or a sultana or something like that, much more healthy. So similarly, you take that time. So this is one that we can really pleasure the senses. And then we realize, actually, most of the time, I'm not tasting anything. I heard from a barista that after the first taste of the coffee, you don't taste anymore. So they sell the coffee on the basis of possibly the smell, right? So that, oh, that's going to be delicious. And then maybe the first mouthful, and then after that, apparently, I don't know. You can experiment, those of you. Anyway, with anything we can experiment, okay? So like that, or we can use like tactility, sensory, pleasant sensations. So last week we're looking at the mindfulness, you know, the 4 close applications of mindfulness, and one of those, the mindfulness of feelings, and we did a meditation about that, feeling pleasant sensations and so forth, unpleasant, pleasant, just noting what they were. So we can cultivate those sensations of joy, of delight, of love, of space, of whatever we want, you know, within the space of our experience, right? So The four close applications of mindfulness, which we're looking at very much in brief last time, really develops, you know, we talk about the two wings of the bird, and then you soar to Buddhahood by combining the two. The wisdom aspect, which we represent when we're putting our hands, the left hand of wisdom, and on the basis of that, we say the right hand of action, of method, of compassion. And this is where we come to these practices of loving kindness and so forth, developing positive emotions on this method side, right? So we can look at, you know, we're cultivating both aspects, getting a sense of balance in, you know, we need to do in all our practices. In fact, in meditating on, you know, so the first one we did last week on the breath and single point of concentration meditation. Now, if you're to take that into a retreat setting, as I mentioned last week, your mind can get tight. And so we need these meditations on positivity to really nurture and cultivate the heart. In fact, it's what we need most in the world, I think, right now, cultivating the heart. When our anxious mind, our overwhelmed mind, our, oh my gosh, another disaster mind, you know, to really let that all unravel and really soften, connect with our heart, which is connecting with our Buddha nature, connecting with our positivity, our innate, who we are, you know, so like that. So we have practices in, well, it's across all traditions, the four immeasurable thoughts or four immeasurable minds. So cultivating this sense of this is limitless love, this is limitless compassion, this is limitless joy, this is limitless equanimity, those four states of mind. We deliberately cultivate these, intentionally cultivate them. And the more we do, the more we familiarize, the more it develops power. And then we get more meaning, you know, particularly if we do the same meditation over and over again for months, for years, and so forth. Really cultivates, it sinks in. We develop habits around that, associate around that, memories around that, confidence around that, power around that. So we build our capacity consciously on the cushion, and then we take that into everything in life, right? So we use, you know, paying attention to cultivating these positive images to bring about positive change in our emotional state, in our minds, our thinking, in our body. So it's a complete holistic package. Sounds enticing, doesn't it? I mean, we're sort of attracted to that, isn't it? Oh yeah, I'll do the positive ones, thank you. Absolutely, we need to. We need to. And so, as I said, some people will say, oh, you know, yeah, thoughts, I'm not really into images, or it's hard for me to just sort of feel a sense of love, or feel a sense of compassion, or feel a kindness, or whatever. So we have different ways of approaching, different meditations to approach. And then, so then we have the next one, looking at positive thoughts, positive words. Now, I can remember in the 70s and 80s, we talked about the, you know, we had all the affirmation cards, and you had all your pack of affirmation cards, and then put up your cards on your mirror, and you know, on your post-it notes and everything else like that. This is a very helpful thing, of a reminder of these positive aspects of ourselves. We need this. We need this. And so, you know, we use thoughts to influence our feelings, influence our perceptions. We talk about that in terms of setting our motivation for the day, for the session, and so forth. So we set our mind in a positive direction. We're doing this intentionally, deliberately. Same as in our prayers. Our prayers are like aspirations for what we want to develop. Okay. So we work on these because that focus on our positivity does get that sense of limitlessness, spaciousness, and we really need that. We really need to grow that more in our practice, because innately the mind in its pure state is this limitless, luminous space, clarity, luminosity, right? So we want to tap into that sense of spaciousness, and it helps us get over these fixed mindsets, these contracted, narrow mindsets. And that way, we enable ourselves to have different experiences, to find different ways of approaching problems, difficulties, and so forth, but also uplifting the mind, you know, giving it, imbuing our mind with a sense of relaxation, softness, kindness, love. So using phrases. And then we can take those phrases off the cushion and into the street. As Richard Gere, you know, mentioned about his practice, my first thought, may you be well, may you be happy. Just simple words, may you be well, may you be happy. My first thought in encountering people. So we can try that as an intentional thought when we encounter people anywhere, in shopping centers, you know, people we don't know, so forth. May you be well, may you be happy. And even if we've got to have a difficult conversation with someone, may you be well, may you be happy. We cultivate this aspect of our mind consciously, deliberately. So included in the notes for this week, and I appreciate you may not have them with you, but I will go through this. So there's a home meditation which is based on this, or based on this idea of using phrases, using words to resonate. And as we familiarize with these over and over, they develop more weight, more meaning, you know, by engaging in practices such as these. Now, there's a sort of formula here of suggested words, but we can make them our own, you know, whatever works for us. So in this one, it's using simple, meaningful phrases to nurture this natural quality of our loving concern. That first, developing that towards ourselves, and then we can cultivate that, develop that out towards others. But first, we start with ourselves. And we try and get this in a sort of sense of genuine heart feeling that we associate with love, what we associate with love. Just allowing our heart to respond to whatever feeling, just letting it arise, letting it be present, letting it fade away. And we go over and over with it, deepening our attention by, you know, sort of 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, however many times we want. And anyway, so I thought maybe we'll just do it. And then this is something, practice it here. And then it's something you can do at home. You can use your own flavor of words or so forth. So we'll do a short practice of this right now. And then we can discuss, you know, what you observed, what you noted in the meditation, okay? Alrighty, so sitting in a conducive posture. Okay. Settling yourself into that posture, as before, feeling well grounded, relaxed. And just focusing on your breath for a few minutes, settling your body, speech and mind in their natural state of relaxation, stillness and alertness. Spacious. So I'll guide you through these particular phrases, pausing to allow that to, their experience to settle within your mind, to settle with some meaning. And just go through a few times. As I said, first of all, towards ourselves and then towards others. So I'll guide you through it and then you can experiment with your own phraseology, or you can ditch these right now and have your own phraseology, that's fine. So just keeping it comfortable. May I live in safety. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. May I live in safety. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. It's really getting the mind of experience of nurturing, cultivating loving kindness, wishing yourself to be happy and to have the causes of happiness. Just letting your heart respond naturally. May I live in safety. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Then we can also widen our view to think of maybe someone or feel some heart connection with, or maybe more than one. By focusing on others' happiness, in fact, our own loving concern, our own happiness is naturally enhanced, and it sort of cuts through being stuck in a rut of negativity, negative self-talk, and so forth. Giving the mind an opposite way to experience the moment. May you live in safety. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Anytime you feel the mind get tight or anything get tight, soften, relax in spacious moment of the breath. Refresh your attention. May you live in safety. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. May you live in safety. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. So when the mind dwells comfortably, naturally with this quality of loving kindness, it gives rise to an inner happiness born from within the mind. So we can dedicate all the positive energy here to grow in your own mind, in the minds of all beings you encounter, this positive energy, this loving concern, this caring concern, which is our birthright, which is our nature, so that we and all others touch our innate Buddha nature. And make meaningful, heartfelt connections with each other. Okay, so as I suggested to those of you last week, we keep a meditation journal. So you are each other's meditation reflection journal here right now. So maybe just team up with somebody else and those of you in the Gompa here, and just reflect on your experience of that meditation. Maybe you've done before, how meditations like this, what you've seen as in the benefit or what it's touched in your heart, anything like that. And then, of course, if any other questions arising from last week or from engaging in the readings and practices at home, we can discuss that too. But anyway, start with this one while it's fresh. Now, those of you online, I'm going to unmute you and, or at least you, I think you can, hold on. Oh, I'll try and go back and do that again. I'm not sure if you can unmute yourselves, because now I've lost the unmute. So people in the Gompa, you can do. Well, you are all muted. I want to unmute. I don't know if I can unmute you. It's not letting me because I'm not the. Oh, yeah. Are you able to unmute yourselves?
It's Georgina here. We can't unless we get the message from you, which we just did.
But you just did.
Yes.
Okay. So that worked.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so if we wind up our individual conversations and come back. So we're going to regroup here in the Gompa and maybe online. I hope that worked for you, being able to discuss some points.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's too much of that.
Okay, let's come back into one group. Of course, those of us here in the Gompa want to keep chatting, which is fantastic. We all respond to a bell, don't we? Okay, so either people online, you can unmute and I can convey to the group if you can't hear in the Gompa, or from the group, I can do vice versa. So does anyone, let's start here. If you anything that you'd like to, there were three of you, we had in the Gompa 333. So
amongst us, we were discussing that particular technique, and I hadn't used that particular.
You have?
I hadn't.
You haven't used this particular meditation before, or using a positive technique like this, or maybe different. Yeah.
I think we all agree that the structure of that and the content of that and the way that it was set up with your thing about yourself, be safe and happy, and that structure that led up to, and may I live life at ease. I mean,
yes,
translating that into the overall compassion we think about other people. It was very well structured, and that's what we were talking about.
They're like the structure of going from, you know, sort of really starting with yourself and really spending time with that. In fact, you could spend a lot of time just on that one before, like I was just introducing the whole thing because it's got it there as a homework meditation. So it sort of invites you to want to do it more, doesn't it? So if you practice at home and just see if I do this day by day by day by day by day, and don't stress out if you don't do it on any given day, please. You know, that's counterproductive already. Yeah, so you can see the benefits like that. Yeah, just taking the time. And I think you've raised a point that generally in our meditation practice, we want to take time to set up the meditation practice, to really have time to settle into that zone. And then allow the body to settle, mind to settle, you know, to unwind and so forth. And then really just support ourselves in that practice, allow ourselves to be supported in that practice. And then, you know, sort of also at the end of the practice, having some time of reflection and contemplation on the benefits. So it's a nice rounded package. Yeah, good observation. Any other points in the group at the front here, maybe?
Possible blockages around the heart.
Possible blockages around the heart. Are we talking the physical heart? Or
No.
I'm not sure what this means. So we have to explain more.
sometimes we have difficulty.
We're talking about the
connecting-
heart chakra, of course, yes.
Connecting with our compassion.
Oh, we have difficulty connecting with our compassion. And I think particularly towards ourself, it's all like, oh no, I'm okay with others out there. But sadly, in our culture, it would seem it's a little bit more confronting to allow that space for ourselves. So we just do it softly, gently, just take time and be patient, you know, be patient with that, be patient with ourselves. And this is where allowing the space around, whether it's the breath, the space around the mind, the space around the words we're saying, you know, any moment of the meditation, just sort of, you know, letting ourselves just sort of rest in that space, you know, bring more and more space into the meditation, because that connects us with the natural state of mind. You know, what do they say? Remind ourselves that we're human beings, not human doings. Something like that.
I think on that same topic, it's one of the issues is that sometimes you can sit and meditate on this, and you can feel that connection in the heart. You know,
You feel the connection in
Yeah,
the heart
yeah.
when you meditate like this, yeah.
There's other times,
Yeah,
and it's for no good reason that you can sort of put your finger on. You know, you sit and do it, and you feel, well, that connection's just not there.
yeah. So other times we can just notice that connection's not there because, you know, this is where we can say the phrases and even we feel bored or not disconnected. Just fake it till you make it. Like, you know, that there are good days and bad days in our meditation, or what we consider a good, they're all good days actually, but we have a certain expectation of what we think is going to happen, that heart connection is going to happen. And therefore we think, oh, it's not working, but it is working. It is working. So that just, I mean, for example, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, when he talks about emptiness, which is a profound topic, says that even saying the word starts to chip away at our experience of suffering, even though we don't know what it means, just saying the word. So here it's about having confidence in the power of the practice itself, and be patient with ourselves and going, yeah, some days we feel in the zone, right? And or even parts of the day, and other times, maybe most of the time, we don't. So it's developing that familiarity, developing, if we build up that storehouse gradually of positivity, then more and more it develops capacity to do that. We eventually get to some point in a countless great eon or 2 or 3 later where it's spontaneous, but you know, just for now we can relax. That's a long time. That's a long time. But feel that this is self-care, this is self-nurturing. It's really important. Down the back here, any added?
One of the things through the meditation, I realised that I never give myself permission to be happy.
You haven't given yourself permission to be happy.
I thought of other people's happiness, but I've never really had said to myself to be happy.
Yes, it is again, you know, as I was saying earlier, it's this, it's our society, isn't it? It's sort of like we go too quickly to focus out there, and this is where people suffer burnout, because we have to nurture. I mean, the Buddha talked about self-nurture. So I'm happy to follow the Buddha's advice. It works, you know, looking after ourselves. Yeah, it's, you know, let it begin with me type thing. Putting on our own oxygen mask first before some, oh, now these days they're not oxygen masks, they're cloth ones and all sorts of other things. Putting on our own mask. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, so spend some time with that, familiarize with that as a self-care practice, and see how much difference it makes. Very good. So those of you online, does anyone want to unmute and say something or put something in the chat. If you can. It elicits that same emotional response, and having that wish towards someone else, we benefit, isn't it? We have that emotional response, so we benefit from that by wishing that towards someone else. So it's sort of like a win-win. Okay. Anyone else want to contribute? It's fine if you don't, really. Okay. So these are all very, very good observations. Now, I did mention if anyone else had any other questions that arose from last week or during things. If not, that's okay too, because I can continue on. Okay. Yes.
I think keeping the journal is really useful.
Yeah, it's good.
I suppose I'm really enjoying doing that. And I also think it helps me to bring in some of the points that we've talked about, like, you know, keeping your eyes open. Some days I notice that I can do it more or less. Or some of those technical things as well. And it's kind of, it's just really interesting to see day to day those variations or what occurs. So, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's very good observation, that keeping the journal, that helps you see day to day, being able to observe, recall some of the advice about setting your posture and whether you're able to do that, keep the eyes open, close, whatever, easily, so forth. And yeah, it gives you something to reflect back on if you keep a meditation journal. So it's very good. Well, yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, that's the purpose of doing it, so that it's a personal thing for us to just observe. And because we're going to do that, it's like having the discussion at the end of a meditation. Oh, yeah, actually, it has that benefit, rather than just go on to the next thing and not allowing that benefit to sink in, to reflect on that. Very, very, very helpful. Okay. All righty. So thanks, everybody. We've talked a little bit already about the next one, about positive feelings. And here we are talking about not necessarily the sensations, although you could do that, but emotions, you know, to cultivate deliberately that sensation. We could say we were doing that really as within having these, repeating these sentences, but noticing the presence of positive sensations, positive feelings, and allowing ourselves in this meditation to actually dwell there, to bring forth those constructive emotions, and, you know, really imbuing our mind with that, let it grow and grow and grow. And it's cutting through our habitual patterns of reaction, response, you know, and so forth. So here it's about cultivating our positive states of mind, tapping into our Buddha nature again, and really tending closely to ourselves, to others, right? So that's this one here. And there's meditation I love on loving kindness that I think when we do our positive belief. So we've touched on this a bit here in the case of, you know, being willing to engage in this. Clearly we're willing because we're here. We have a belief in the power to be able to transform our minds, or to enter into a particular situation and or use visualization. So we can think about this in daily life where maybe it's a job interview or something, and we use that, you know, power of, you know, positivity and so forth in our preparation for that, or visualize it or rehearse it or things like that. There are times in life where we can say, yep, I've used it there, I've used it there. But this being able to have real conviction in our power to transform our mind, not only conviction and belief in that and confidence in that, but yes, I will, I must, you know, I can, I will, I must. And this cuts through this sort of limiting of ourselves. The mind that says, oh, I can't, it won't work for me, which is a form of laziness. Like next week, we'll look at what are some of the hindrances and obstacles to our meditation, and laziness is number one. It's not to beat ourselves up, but just to see that everybody goes through that. We all have that experience, you know, even the great meditators of the past, absolutely everybody. It's there in the traditional presentation, and that manifests in different ways. So, you know, maybe we can use play, maybe we can engage playfully, not take ourselves too seriously in our practice. That's a very spacious way. Just mentioning that, I have to mention now, since we're talking about positivity, that the film Mission Joy between His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I mean, I just, you know, you have to smile when you think about it. The dialogue between His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu is being offered freely at the moment until and including tomorrow, maybe even a bit longer in our part of the world, I'm not sure. The link is on something called Show and Tell, but if you Google it, I mean, a lot of us have got this sent around on an app and saying, it's free again. So it was free in January, but it just sort of, it's hard to watch that and not be imbued with joy and delight. So we, you know, we encourage ourselves in those positive directions, you know, reading things and watching things that are going to help us uplift the mind, right? Of course, then we take that onto the cushion, you know, give a sense of, I'm an explorer here, an opportunity to really just channel into our innate positive qualities and use it more and more for our own benefit. And then byproduct, benefit others. But, you know, start with ourselves. So then we use visualization practices. Yeah, so I wanted this quote from Lama Yeshe that we have here. I just wanted to touch on that. It relates to what I was just saying there. According to Buddhist Tantra, we remain trapped within a circle of dissatisfaction. Well, it's in the sutra teachings as well, discontent, dissatisfaction, because our view of reality is narrow and suffocating. We hold on to a very limited and limiting view of who we are and what we can become, with the result that our self-image remains oppressively low and negative, and we feel quite inadequate and hopeless. As long as our opinion of ourselves is so miserable, our life will remain meaningless. It's pretty intense, isn't it? It doesn't mince the words there. So, for example, when His Holiness the Dalai Lama had a meeting early on with the mind and life scientists, and one of them talked about low self-esteem, and there's not a word in Tibetan for low self-esteem. So it took a while to translate to His Holiness what was being said. And His Holiness just looked horrified, threw his robes over his head and cried. Why would we, he said, when he slightly recovered, as human, why would a human being do this to ourselves? Now, we don't think about it like this, that I'm doing this to myself. But in fact, check up, we are doing this to ourselves. We're disabling ourselves, if we like, or disempowering ourselves by these thoughts. And so, yes, we can attack them encounter them head on, but this more powerful approach of putting something more enticing, more visualization, using this, it occupies the whole of your mind, right? It just sort of absorbs you and it infuses your whole mind with that positivity. So it really grabs us. And so, as Lama says, Tantra challenges this unreasonably low opinion of human potential, showing us how to view ourselves and all others as transcendently beautiful. As gods and goddesses, in fact. This divine self-visualization empowers us to take control of our life and create for ourselves a pure environment in which our deepest nature can be expressed. Our Buddha nature is our deepest nature. So even though you might say, well, I'm not familiar with Tantra, I haven't engaged with Tantra practices, when we use something like a Buddha image, that's indeed what we're doing. And the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, that aspect is the teacher on the sutra path. So therefore we can go for it and we can feel that, not that Buddha's there and I'm here, but that sense of being one. Oh, this is me. This is my true nature. And so we cultivate that consciously, deliberately as well in our practice. So we'll get onto that. I think we'll have time to go through that. So using visualization, searching positive images, positive thoughts, positive words, ideas to focus our attention on, and attending to the positive feelings. So attention has that sense of tending to, caring for. So if we think about it in that way, you know, just allow them to expand, to grow, and pervade our whole body and mind. So we're going to look at this now with this body of light meditation, allowing ourselves to fully enter into it, you know, at least temporarily while we're engaging in the practice, to suspend the negative self-talk and those familiar ruts of disbelief, doubt, and just see what's possible. Is it possible to have different experiences? Is it possible to have different perspectives? Already in our discussions, we've said yes. We experienced it right here today. And then we develop our capacity for that. So we, you know, sort of grow the space around these positive feelings. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, one book, it's changed its title, but it's called Widening the Circle of Love. We start with ourselves. You know, this loving concern towards ourselves, and that His Holiness says, and now here's a booster technique. And then we widen that out to, it's, you know, in the typical loving kindness metta meditation, to those who are close to us, dear to us already. And then we widen out further to those who maybe we don't even notice, you know. And then we widen it out even further to the difficult ones. So we don't go straight to the difficult ones. It's too hard, right? And then get a sense of equal loving concern towards all, myself, the one close to me, the one distant, the one I have difficulty with, and sort of equal regard. And in that process, tapping into our own innate joy, our own innate happiness, our own innate loving, caring concern. So we can extend that then in our relationship with ourselves to in our interpersonal relationships. For example, that sheer powerful practice of smiling. It's a bit difficult with masks on, isn't it? I just realized. Smiling eyes. But when we are able to do that, maybe we can do it in our cars as we're driving around when we don't have to wear a mask. Actually, technically outdoors, we don't have to wear masks, right? Only indoors. So we can try this outside. And, you know, just offering that smile to someone, whether or not they smile back, but when they do, doesn't it uplift your heart? We feel that heart connection. So that brings joy, it brings that connection, that joy to our heart. Simply that. We don't have to go any further than that as a practice, as we go about our daily business. I just think it's so powerful. Okay. And gradually, as we do it on the cushion, as we do it and we engage with others, it sort of gives us the confidence to do more, gives us the capacity to do more, to extend our hand and heart out to others with a genuine heart concern, right? And with a softness and a spaciousness and a confidence. You know what I mean? Not freaking out. It just doesn't help. Okay, so we'll end this session by the looks of things with this meditation on the body of light and visualization. Yeah. So setting your body comfortably. And this is another one I invite you to also practice at home. Again, feeling well supported, stable, well grounded to the earth below, that they're really well supported. And so that your weight of your body can just relinquish itself, your pelvis, to that earth element in the bones, literally connected to the earth element below, and feeling well supported. Bringing your mind into the space of the body, inviting that into this spacious environment. Simply attending to the comings and goings of your breath in its natural rhythm, helping your body and mind to find their way to a state of balance, of comfort, of ease. So as you breathe in, think that you're breathing in all the positive qualities that you admire, or the love, the kindness, wisdom, generosity, strength, courage. Just really go for it. Just invite them all in, breathe them all in, soak them into your DNA, into your body, into your mind. And so we can use visualization to imagine taking that into your heart chakra, into your chest, in the form of brilliant, radiant, blissful white light, whatever, or white or whatever color. You might want to infuse different qualities with different colors of the rainbow, with the qualities of warmth and bliss. Really allow that to permeate every aspect of your being. So from that warmth at your chest radiating out, filling up, rising upwards, filling your head, your shoulders, your arms and hands, flowing down, filling your torso, your pelvis, your legs, your feet, tips of your toes, breath by breath, transforming the whole of your body into a body of light. You make your own palette, your own display of all the positive qualities. attending as you breathe out to releasing anything getting in the way of that, anything heavy, dark, cold, anything tight and tense. Breathe that out. You know, anything that's weighing on your mind, any, you know, anger, grief, memories, fears, sorrow, pain, dissolving it with the breath out so it dissolves into nothingness, does not exist on any atom of space. Like whatever form comes to you, like dark smoke or rotting smells or cold wind, whatever, just release, release. It's like put aside that burden, just release yourself out of that, breath by breath out, moment of breath by breath out, set yourself free of everything that encumbers you. So see that whatever heaviness, darkness, disappear, dissolve, gone. In your entire body, every organ, every tissue, every cell, continuing as you breathe in to be filled up entirely with radiant, blissful, light energy. Attending to the breath and resting your awareness in that experience that everything negative, anything distracting has been dispelled, and there's only light within you, this lightness of being, this body of light. Dwell there. And imagine a blazing sun, radiant sun in every cell of your body, pouring forth energies of light, heat, bliss, growth. Radiating out within every cell. Or you might want to see a Buddha image, a Buddha in the Pure Land, radiating out within every cell, as if from your own, you know, potential Buddha nature at your heart chakra, radiating out on every atom of light. This sort of pure Buddha energy, pure land, pure environment of the body. Feeling warmth, feeling bliss, flowing into each cell, the surroundings around each cell, the space in between, breathing in, taking in the warmth, the bliss into every cell, every atom of your being. Radiant light, golden light energy of the sun, of the Buddha, of your own positive quality. Soaking in that, dwelling there. And think, this is me, this is who I truly am. view yourself in this new light, a radiant body of light, overflowing with warmth and bliss. Feel this is your innate wholeness, a state of balance, of equilibrium, of ease. Of joy, of love, of kindness. Your ultimate potential of confidence is to be just like that, transcendently beautiful, powerful, truly amazing. Gathering all of that energy back into your heart chakra in the center of your chest. This precious storehouse of your innate positivity, so that it may continue to grow and grow in your meditation sessions, familiarizing more and more as you engage with yourself, with others, with the world. We can dedicate all the positivity we've generated here together this morning to continue to grow and grow that positive energy for the benefit of ourselves, for the benefit of all those we encounter. Okay, so there's some meditations to go on with, to practice at home, to then also, if you wish to, keep the journal, keep a reflection, seeing the benefits of doing that. Those of you who are enrolled to do, doing the readings. And as I mentioned, that next week we will look at hindrances to our practice, so we can come along with our very long list of all the hindrances and we'll chip away at those. Yes.
I'm wondering if that quotation from Lama Yeshe,
Yeah,
could that be put online with our notes?
it is in the notes.
It's in the notes.
Yes,
Okay.
it's in the notes for today. That quotation from Lama Yeshe is in the notes from today.
And the other thing is, I don't think anybody followed up with that link from Atomic Habits.
Which link?
Atomic habits.
Atomic Habits, yes. Yeah.
Because I found it really useful. And he also underlined, we're talking about identity, changing identity.
Yeah. So
I think it's well worth a look at.
okay. Thank you. So just a reminder that there's this link, Atomic Habits, where this gentleman's talking about how to do precisely what we're talking about, changing our habits and a sense of identity and so forth. So anybody else who has useful links they'd like to share, please do. And also those of you on the Zoom, because this is the first time we've done it within incorporating discussion and so forth here. So if you want to give any feedback about how that's working for you, or could that be improved or so forth, we can look at that. Trying to, incorporate us all in together as those online and those in the Gompa. Okay, so yeah, feedback quite welcome. And yes, remember we have Losar Puja, which will also, I believe, will be on Zoom. So we have on the website a page now with all the Zoom links for everything. I think it's for everything. I'm not. Anyway, it's coming up with everything, and it'll come out. I don't know if people received the newsletter already. It was, yes, it's coming. The newsletter you'll get, I don't know, in the next couple of days, I guess. So yeah, so Wednesday, 7:30, we have that puja, and anyone who's able to offer a bit of time to help set up for that, because it's New Year, we do the traditional thing of clean and zhuzh, and we're going to put up lots of offerings here that stay up for the first 3 days of that Losa period. It's particularly days 1, 2, and 3 are also always very strongly, celebrated. And then the final day on 18th of March will be Day of Miracles. They're all days of miracles, but it's like the final one. And that's also, there will be puja on that day as well. But if you're able to help out on Tuesday, Wednesday, I think from 11ish or so, people will be cleaning or setting up offerings or so forth. If you wish to participate, that would be fabulous. The more the merrier. Okay, so we'll do some dedication prayers. Those of us who have this book at page 16, under the Idam Guru Ratna mantra. Through the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the precious Bodhi mind not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.